ladies and gentlemen, the 46th president of the United States of America, Joseph Robinette Biden, on July 21st, 2024, has chosen to drop out of the race. That's right. I told you that would happen. It's coconut time, ladies and gentlemen. You already know. Joseph Robinette Biden has officially dropped out of the race and, as I told you he would, endorsed Kamala Harris. IsItJoever.com says it is 100% Joever, ladies and gentlemen. Campaign is canceled. I need some time to relax and bounce on. I'll announce Kamala when I feel like it. Whoo! Remember when I told you guys, I said this is the most boring election cycle, but overnight it has the capacity to become the most interesting election cycle. We're there. We're officially there. This is now officially become a historic run. It went from a rerun between a cadaver and a convict, both people that Americans were tired of on both sides, regardless of policy. People were just like on vibes alone. They were like, bro, I don't care about this. I don't want to dial into this. I don't give a about this at all. Guys, 7 days ago, Donald Trump, 45th president of the United States of America, Donald John Trump, got shot in the ear at a Butler, Pennsylvania rally. That was 7 days ago. It feels like 8 lifetimes ago. That happened only 7 days ago. Think about that. The writers woke the up. They thought, you know what? We gave the NBA a goddamn dud. No 7-game final. Basically blew out the entirety of the Mavericks. It's because they were writing the script for this, dude. They literally gave nothing to the NBA final script, so they gave it all to the election cycle. As my main man, Vladimir Ilyich Lenin likes to say, there are decades where nothing happens, and then there are weeks where decades happen. We are in the week where decades are happening. We are now officially in that week. We were in that week last week. We're in that week this week. It hasn't stopped being the week. Bro. Immediately, they're switching up the narrative so fast. I told you. Bakari Sellers, Kamala is running against the oldest nominee for president of the United States in American history. I mean, the man is nearly 80 years old. And so the question is, can he serve another 4 years? I'm not sure he can. Now, every single one of these indecent straight up were like, Joe's not old. How dare you say that? Every single one. What did I tell you? I told you there's no Biden or bust in this goddamn party. They're all just ruthless machine politicians with bad instincts. It didn't even take 30 seconds for these to switch up. They were trying to gaslight us. Oh, Joe Biden is not going to drop out. You're out of your mind. He's actually sharp as a tack, okay? He's actually sharp as a tack. The moment that they switch it up. What did I tell you? You think Harry Sasson is going to be out there being like, yeah, actually, I'm a Biden dead ender. Sorry, Biden or bust for me. I wanted a candidate that's like 800 years old, you know? Kamala's too young, too vibrant. You think that's what they were going to say? There were people in this media that were trying to tell me, Hassan, Biden is actually really popular in certain demographics. The media or certain aspects of the Democratic Party are really riding with Biden. Like, no, they're not. They're just careerist pieces of who did not make the right calculation, okay? Vindication after vindication. Put some respect on it. Obviously, put some respect on Uncle Cenk, too, who's been dialed in on this issue for months at this point. People made fun of him. Not me, of course. I'm riding with Cenk as always. But he was right 100%. He was right from the jump. 2024 is the year of HasanAbi vindication. But I can't be the only one who's a Biden dead ender. I lied this entire time. As a obvious political commentator, as a unbiased political journalist, political commentator, I always try to tell you not what I think, but what the public wants to hear. And for that reason, I must reluctantly tell you that I will not be voting for Kamala Harris because I was riding with Biden. I'm the only one in America, in the United States of America, that was actually like, I need the 800-year-old carcass. I need him. I need him in my veins. I need him. Just kidding. Of course not, because I'm not a idiot. All right, let's continue. Let's see what Bakari Sellers, who was selling us the idea that Joe Biden is fine not that long ago. What is he saying now?
Getting them, whipping them up, trying to get them on board for Kamala Harris. I don't think that's going to be a difficult task. In anything else, the vice president.
Where's Jamie Harrison? Where's Jamie Harrison? Bring him to me now. $100 million lost in front of Lindsey Graham. Then the Democratic Party put you on the DNC chair. Where is he? Where are you? What happened? I don't want Bakari. I want Jamie. I want to see that on television on the front lines going, yeah, everything I lied about for the past 6 months. Actually, I was just lying. What are we doing? We put a who does not know anything about campaigning, who got absolutely bodied by Lindsey Graham, an in-the-closet gay man in the Deep South, who is one of the least popular politicians in Congress. Jamie Harrison dumped $100 million into that race, and then what did the Democratic Party do? The Democratic Party went, you know what, Jamie? You're the GOAT. You lost gracefully, so you should lead the DNC. Oh my God. For those of you who are wondering what the f***'s going on, Joe Biden has dropped out. But these characters that I'm pointing to right now are the characters within the Democratic Party who just kept telling us something that we can see with our own two eyes. I've been saying this since 2019. Since 2019, I said Joe Biden has lost his step. He is not the Joe Biden that would have won in 2016. He is not the right person for this party. In 2019, I said that obviously I was biased. I'm a Bernie bro. I was a Bernie or buster. I was busting for Bernie pretty hard. That was one of the reasons. But there was a very valid reason not to put Joe, because he was going to drop the incumbent advantage come 2024 because he was too old in 2019. People knew he was old in 2019, but the media gaslit us. The media kept telling us, no, this 85-year-old man, this 800-year-old demon is actually running on the best adrenochrome you've ever seen. He's perfectly fine. Nothing is wrong. And then 50 million people watched Joe Biden look like all of our collective grandparents, okay? 50 million Americans watched the president of the United States of America basically play the role of grandpa that's unfortunately, lost not only his step, but his mental faculties. After that debate where 50 million Americans watched Joe Biden fail to demonstrate basic competency for weeks, if not an entire month. I don't even know. My concept of time is so out of whack at this point because, like I said, 7 days ago, Donald Trump was shot and it feels like a lifetime ago. But I think it was a month ago. For an entire month, we played this song and dance on television with donors where all of the family members of Joe Biden were basically saying, come on, Grandpa, you can't drive no more. We have to take the car keys away from you, Grandpa. We have to. And he stood by and said, no, I'm driving this goddamn car. If you can't drive a vehicle, you can't drive a nuclear submarine as the commander in chief. One. Number two, the only people in Joe Biden's orbit that obviously wanted him to stay in the race was like Hunter Biden and his immediate family members and like 8 people in the Progressive Caucus. That's it. And Joe Scarborough. Never forget Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski, Jamie Harrison, the DNC chair, Bakari Sellers, and a couple select few members were the people that were like, no, Joe's good. I'm riding with him. I'm riding with Biden. Behaving like Biden dead enders as though he was the best possible choice here. Oh my God. And it was wild. I felt like I was going crazy. Couple years down the line, we are going to look back at this moment and go, remember when the president's like inner circle, Jill Biden, his wife, and his children, one of which is literally a convicted felon and like a person who very famously has more pictures doing crack than sober. Those were the guys who were like, you have to stay in this race, honey. You have to stay in this race. When the entire country was like, what are you doing? 67% of Democratic Party voters were like, we have to swap Joe out. 67%, 70+% of the entire country, 70% of independents. The entire nation was like, what are we doing? What the are we doing? I will be taking a victory lap on this day and I will not be nice about it. Oh my Lord. You should have known. You should have known when Hillary Clinton came out like 3-4 days ago. Biden should stay in the race. Listen, you feel like you deserve to be the president. You felt like it was your time in 2016 and you got ritualistically humiliated and refused to learn any lessons from that humiliation. You stuck to it and now it sucks because there's another woman. There's another woman with a likelihood of possibly winning the presidency, as a matter of fact. Those words are never going to be Madam President Clinton. If it happens, it's going to be Madam President Harris. Going to be Kamala Harris. And that probably stings you right in the heart every time you think about that. You're like, ah, because you're a bad person. Hillary Rodham Clinton, you are a bad person. You brought Donald Trump upon this nation for 4 years. Your incompetence, you and you alone, and all of those in your immediate circle is responsible for Donald Trump. They did the Pied Piper strategy. They propped up Donald Trump. They said Donald Trump would be the best possible person to run against, and Donald Trump defeated you. Your instincts were so bad. You're like, Wisconsin, I don't need to go there. Why the would I go there? You know what I mean? Oh, blue wall my And for a moment, I thought this was a rerun, that this election cycle was seemingly a rerun. Bad candidate that many people are not enthusiastic about going up against an unknown entity in 2016, but a known entity now, for better or for worse. But I told you, it's like, this is not a 2020 rerun. This is a 2016 rerun. We have a person who's gripping on when everyone else is reading the room and recognizing that this situation is untenable. This is not good. It's not good at all. That he is going to most likely lose to Donald Trump. The DNC, Jamie Harrison, only 48 hours ago. What a difference 48 hours makes. We'll see. Oh, we'll see, baby. We'll see what kind of difference that makes, don't won't we? Haha. Let's see what he had to say, actually. You know what? Let me be ruthless today. Let me be a piece of... Let's see what he had to say. He said, just in case you didn't know, I'm still riding with Biden 2024.
The polls that are most important to me is when I hit the ground and I interact with folks. Look at the crowd that Joe Biden talked to at the NAACP.
Can you imagine bringing up crowds when you're Joe Biden and you're running against Donald Trump? Joe Biden never in a million years had the same level of fandom as Donald Trump. And he never did throughout his entire political career. And he did not when he was the vice president. That was for Obama. And he did not when he was the president. And he is the president still. The idea that you would ever bring up something that Trump is objectively good at, which is no metric of success anyway, because Trump drew significantly larger crowds in the 2020 election and still lost to Joe Biden. The idea that you would bring that up when you're running against Trump is so stupid. The reality is 67% of Democrats said that they were voting against Trump. They were not voting for Biden, whereas 60% of Republicans say they are voting for Trump. That's the difference. That's the difference. So for him to be like, oh, he draws a lot of crowds, like, who are you lying to, man? Who the are you lying to?
These are folks who are leaders, black leaders in communities across this country.
And then bringing this up, 52% of black voters in the Democratic Party said that they want to replace Joe Biden, that they said he was not competent enough to be president even. That's also, it is 100% a cynical weaponization of identity, which Democrats love to do. They love to do it. They did it to Bernie, and they were doing it to keep Biden in the race. Biden is not black. Kamala Harris is. You mean black people want Biden? What a ridiculous statement. Like, they were literally gaslighting in the worst ways possible. They were like, yeah, no, black people want Biden, so you're racist because you say, no, a black woman should be the presidential candidate. Like, you're racist, actually. And it doesn't even matter what Kamala's background or identity is in this circumstance. I'm just simply saying that, like, it was that ridiculous that they were just acting as though the vice president, which is chosen as a replacement for the president, was not good enough. But what do you expect from Biden, who literally openly said, oh no, I'm picking a VP not because of their background or anything, but because she's a black woman. He said that. He said that with Ketanji Brown Jackson, who I actually like. Ketanji Brown Jackson is the only defense attorney, the only public attorney that has ever sat in the Supreme Court of the United States. Qualifications out the... She is a better representation of the American public in terms of the Supreme Courts of the United States justices than anyone else. And they literally cut that in the most cynical way by being like, well, we put a black woman. We put a black woman in the Supreme Court. It's like so gross. Leaning in to the worst messaging from the Republican Party. Oh no, they went private. The Biden accomplishments guy. What about Biden's wins? What about Biden's wins? It's so funny how the moment the money stops coming from the donors, they switch on Biden. Listen, buddy, it wasn't just the donors, but unfortunately for all of us, the only way to get these to do anything is through the donors. Okay. Is Harry Hassan okay? Of course he's okay. He's going to be the most loyal Fedayeen for Kamala Harris. A lot of these guys who openly said, no, I'm riding with Biden. I'm riding with Biden. You guys are wrong. They are all going to immediately turn around and, of course, endorse Kamala Harris. They're going to advocate for Kamala Harris. Of course they are, because they want to be party loyalists. I told you, no one in this goddamn nation was going, I'm voting for Biden because I like Biden and Biden alone. He is so charismatic. I love his policies. I love his legislative agenda. No one was doing that. That is precisely the reason why Biden was actually getting outcompeted with down ballot candidates. In key states, he has to win. Arizona, Nevada, Georgia even. Like everywhere in the country, Biden was like getting outperformed by Amy Klobuchar by like 10 points. You were off Biden 4 years ago, Kekleo. That's such a funny thing to say because there has never been a moment where I have ever given this dude even an ounce of credit that he does not deserve. If we talk about the NLRB under the Biden regime, I've defended that. If we talk about actually pulling out of Afghanistan, okay, that was the right thing to do. I'll stand by that. But everything else, especially in the lead up to the race and everything else post the race, he has gone back on. Don't be ridiculous. Oh. Anyway, do you have any guesses for who Harris will choose as her VP? White man. One of the whitest men you can find, okay? One of the whitest, most straight men you can find, okay? Not even like a little gay. Not even a little zesty. You can't even have someone like maybe a little zesty. It's like a rerun. Barack Obama's perfect counter was like a racist, goofy white guy. Kamala Harris's counter has to be like the driest white boy to ever do it. And I don't mean like Tim Kaine style white guy. I mean like an Andy Bashir or a Mark Kelly, that type of guy. If there's a cop dome, that actually works even better. Mark Kelly does have the cop dome, the cop phrenology. JB Pritzker is great, but I don't think that'll be the case. But I'd like JB Pritzker. We need a tubby man. We need like a big rotund boy. We need to bring back big boys. I mean, look at this, bro. Dropped this pic of Bashir's family. That's what I'm talking about. Looks related, dude. And I don't mean just with his parents. No, Bashir is actually pretty solid. That's a joke. Those are jokes. Those are jokes. Those are jokes. All right, I need to sit down. Holy moly, what a day!
Or not with his senior most staff. This was him informing his staff that the decision was made. I also just want to note, you know, in the letter that he sent, he said he is going to focus the rest of his term on making sure that he is finishing out the rest of the first term as well as he can, and really focusing on really just doing the duties of the presidency. What he didn't say there.
Do the right thing, Brandon. Cut all aid. Put BDS on the map, Brandon. Do it. Netanyahu you over. He you over. You bear hugged him. He was a fake friend. Take that phone call when he comes in to the American Congress. His arrest warrant should be out by then. Coordinate with the ICC. Get that arrest warrant application to go through and then arrest his. I swear to God, dude, I will door knock for Kamala Harris. I will go around the nation. I will tell every single person to vote for Kamala Harris if this happens. It's not going to happen, but if it did, that would be pretty cool.
These are dramatic developments, and it's come as a surprise to a lot of us after the president of the United States for days and days kept saying he's in it to win it. He's not going anywhere. He's staying in the race. Then all of a sudden, he posts this letter to the American public saying he's no longer.
It wasn't all of a sudden. Everyone knew it was coming. I knew it was coming, and I'm okay. I don't have insider sources or anything. Well, maybe a little bit, maybe some, but come on. Everybody knew it was happening.
It's an incredible amount of, we kind of thought
the DNC chair blocked me.
Gosh,
oh, damn.
It's still so sad, right? I mean, Joe Biden is this American hero. He's such a patriot.
It's not sad.
Saved us from Donald Trump.
No one is sad. Literally not a single person is sad. Hunter Biden is sad. His ain't getting a pardon. Oh, no. Oh, his is going to federal prison, big dog. Okay, that's the one guy who's sad right now, and he can me. I was a big Hunter Biden advocate for the longest time until I saw his fail son White House attending meetings with the staffers, sitting side by side with Joe Biden, being like, nope, please keep running, Pop. Please keep running, Papa.
Saying essentially that he did not believe Biden could defeat Donald Trump if he remained on the ticket. But with Biden's statement about 20 minutes after he posted this letter saying that he is going to endorse Vice President Harris as the Democratic nominee, we're watching these statements. We're seeing people like Senator Mark Warner, progressive House member Jamal Bowman getting behind her as the Democratic nominee. Is that what you expect to see?
If Republicans try to run the gambit of being like, we're going to sue to make sure that like Kamala is not on the ballot before the convention even happens, the entire nation will collapse on them. Do you understand me? That was one of the many reasons why I said there's no way that they're gonna like try and hold this up in the court system. They can try because they're panicking right now. That is the worst possible thing that they can do. Why is that the worst possible thing they can do? Because that feeds into they want to end democracy. They have no respect for democracy narrative. A smart staffer, and I know many of you are watching me right now, if you are in those rooms, that's the angle. Oh, really? The convention didn't happen, and that's how scared they are that they can't run a normal race, so they're gonna try and do like the exact same thing that they did last time, like with January 6th when they tried to do false electors, when they wanted to like do some weird court process to undermine the will of the people. How about you fight on November 5th? How about you fight in November? Why are you trying to fight in the court process? It's the easiest messaging dub of all time. Mike Johnson called it illegal. These pieces of the Republican Party. They're like, oh, sorry, you can't do that. You mean you can't do that? There's no procedure that is actually put into motion. You can cry until you have no more tears left. Oh, 14 million primary voters who cast their ballots for you. Am I right? Them up. You're over. Suck my dude. Your account's called End Wokeness. Keep crying, okay? These are the types of people who like imagine trans people in their minds and then have an aneurysm, okay? These are not serious people. Get the out of here. Keep crying, dude. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so wonderful. It's so brilliant. Oh, my Lord. They're chirping so hard because they know that Biden was a weak candidate. Anyone that's like even remotely competent is actually going to be a stronger candidate than the carcass. There's enough movement and enough momentum in the Democratic Party. They got juice right now. They got motion, okay? I need you to understand something. They can still up, and the Democratic Party always up, okay? So these upcoming months are very important, okay? They're very important. Kamala Harris has to basically undo a lot of the last minute motions from the Biden administration. CNN, avalanche of donations pouring into Harris campaign. President Joe Biden is patriotic American. Dude, I verbatim told you. I could have written these quotes. Joe Biden is a patriotic American who has always put our country first. His legacy, vision, values, and leadership make him one of the most consequential presidents in American history. With love and gratitude to President Biden for always believing in the promise of America and giving people the opportunity to reach their fulfillment. God blessed America with Joe Biden's greatness and goodness. I told you, he is a wonderful man. We're going to preserve his legacy. I told you verbatim that's what they're going to say, and that's what they're saying. Of course, that's what they're saying. Joe Biden said, my fellow Democrats, I have decided not to accept the nomination and focus all my energies on my duties as president for the remainder of my term. Verbatim what I told you he was going to say. My very first decision as the party nominee in 2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president. And it's been the best decision I've made. Today, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year, Jack. Cut the malarkey, Democrats. It's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this. Let's do this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Watch me. I'm going to finish the job. I'm going to finish the job, Jack. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anyway,